When the universe chooses you, the enemy chooses war. They are not sending distractions by accident. They are not stirring confusion just for the chaos. They are doing it because they are scared, terrified, because something is coming for you, something massive, and they can feel it in your energy before it even touches the physical. This is the reason why they have been ramping up the noise, the tension, and the illusions. They know what lies ahead for you, and they will do whatever it takes to throw you off before you get there. However, here is the truth. They did not succeed in their attempt to throw you off. Cannot stop what's already written. Before we go further like this message and subscribe, if you're hearing this, it's because the universe wants your focus back when you engage. You help send this message to other chosen ones who are being spiritually attacked through distractions, delays, and emotional warfare. You tell the algorithm that truth matters more than illusion. Comment the number 77 if the attacks have been louder lately, if your peace has felt invaded, and if your clarity has been under fire. That means the breakthrough. This is warfare, and the battlefield is your mind, your time, and your focus. You feel it, don't you? That strange sense of both tension and anticipation that is building up. It's the weight of something that's almost here, something divine, something big, something that can't be explained, but must be protected. You were chosen for a purpose that the majority of people can't understand, and because they don't understand it, they fear it, and because they fear it, they try to disrupt it. You are not paranoid. This is warfare, and the battlefield is your mind, your time, and your focus. They are not trying to destroy you. They're trying to distract you just enough that you miss the moment, the blessing that's got your name on it. It's not just close, it's already en route. The only tactic left is to shake your energy, twist your priorities, flood your space with chaos, so that when your opportunity knocks, you're too drained or too distracted to answer. But hear this, you are not ordinary. The power that was placed inside you cannot be mimicked, borrowed, or stolen. It's yours by design. That's why they watch you. That's why they imitate you but never measure up. That's why they come close with smiles but carry daggers in their energy. Your light exposes every lie, and your presence disrupts every fake system they depend on to feel strong. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. Your energy speaks first. This is why you've been under fire, not because you're weak, but because you're too powerful to be left alone. They see what's written in your energy field, and it terrifies them. They'd rather have you there, doubting your purpose than walking in it. They'd rather have you chasing noise than aligning with truth, because when a chosen one steps into full awareness, when you finally lock in everything around you, changes their control, shatters their illusions, collapse. And the blessing that was delayed becomes a flood. They can't hold back. So no, you're not crazy. No, you're not imagining things, and no, you're not alone. You've been marked by the universe, and your blessing is protected, but the closer it gets, the harder they'll try to shake you. Do not fall for the bait. Don't get caught in petty drama, emotional traps, or fake emergencies. This is the final distraction before the shift. You've been chosen, and that truth haunts them now. It's time to act like it. If the Aeneum has been turning up the volume lately, if distractions, fake friends, confusion, and sudden chaos have been showing up like clockwork, you already know why that's not random. That's targeted. They're trying to throw you off just long enough to block the blessing that's already moving in your direction, but they failed. You're still here. You're still aware now. Let the universe know you're locked back in. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you're done letting distractions decide your future. Like and subscribe, because this message isn't just yours. It's a lifeline for every chosen one they're trying to silence. And now let's dive in step by step. If you're truly chosen, you'll feel the pull to stay. The more they try to distract you, the more you need to double down. Focus is power. Let's get into it. Number one, they plot when the universe prepares. Every time the universe aligns something powerful for you, the enemy panics like a coward in the dark. They don't move until the power moves. They don't strike until the energy shifts. The moment the universe begins preparing something for your elevation, that's when the enemy starts organizing their attack. They can sense it before you even do. You're still second-guessing yourself, still wondering if you're crazy for feeling a change in the atmosphere, and they're already scrambling to build distractions, chaos, and traps to throw you off before you rise. That's how much your power shakes them. Let's be clear, they don't plot on people going nowhere. They don't waste time on the average. They only start panicking when a chosen one is about to step into alignment. And right now, that chosen one is you. If you're feeling the pressure, the confusion, the sudden weight of random attacks from every angle, it's because something massive is being put together in your favor. They've already seen the setup, and because they can't stop what's coming, they're doing the next best thing, trying to stop you from being ready for it. This is why the warfare always intensifies before your biggest moments. This is why betrayal shows up out of nowhere. Why the people closest to you start moving strange. Why things you thought were stable start falling apart. That's not chaos. That's strategy. They need you. Distracted right when the door is about to open because the enemy knows what you're about to walk into, and it scares the hell out of them. When the universe chooses you, it doesn't announce it on a loudspeaker, but the energy shifts, and the ones who feed off darkness can feel it. Your presence starts to disturb spaces you used to blend into. Your silence becomes threatening. Your very existence becomes a mirror showing people everything they're not, and that's when the plots begin. Not because you have done something wrong, but rather because your light reveals every lie that they live by. So what do? They appear in disguise as friends, but they speak like saboteurs. They create emotional messes to drain your energy. They try to resurrect the old you through triggers in the hope of keeping you stuck in cycles that you have already outgrown. They don't need to attack your body. They just want your mind, because if they can convince you to believe the lie before the blessing arrives, you will never be able to claim what is already yours. Yours, this is deeper than opposition, it's orchestration. The enemy doesn't guess, they study, they analyze your patterns, your habits, your weaknesses, and they use that data to plan the most subtle sabotage possible. You think it's a coincidence that you get hit hardest when you finally commit to changing your life. You think it's random that the biggest betrayal came right after you chose to walk away from what was draining you. No, that was timed, that was planned, and it was proof that your alignment is dangerous. Look at history. Every major figure who carried something powerful had to face the plot before the platform. They didn't wait until Jesus was preaching to try and stop him. They came for him the moment he was born. Malcolm X wasn't targeted when he was wild and lost. The pressure came when he found clarity and purpose. Martin Luther King Jr. was allowed to live in peace until he began shaking systems. The plot begins when your power becomes visible, and your power becomes visible the moment you begin aligning with the truth of who you are. That's where you are right now, on the edge of visibility, on the edge of a shift so large that it causes your adversaries to feel restless in their spirit. This is the reason why you have been under fire recently. This is the reason why it has been difficult to concentrate. This is the reason why confusion, frustration, and isolation have been accompanying you on every step of your journey recently. They are not attacking the version of you that is currently present. Rather, they are attacking the version that is about to be revealed. I know what you might be thinking. Why me? Because you were built for this. The universe does not invest this kind of pressure into someone who does not carry something generational. You weren't chosen to coast through life unnoticed. You were chosen to disrupt, to shift, to awaken people just by being you. That kind of presence doesn't go unchallenged. Or maybe you're wondering, if I'm chosen, why does this feel so hard? That's the trick. That's how they try to convince you to turn around. The closer you get to what's yours, the more it'll feel like everything is falling apart, because pressure is a signal. Pressure means the blessing is no longer coming. It's arriving. They want you so focused on what is crumbling is that you miss what is being built for you on the other side. You are not under attack because you are weak. Rather, you are under attack because you are carrying something that the world needs. And the enemy is aware of it being your clarity, your purpose, and your elevation. It is a threat to every system that thrives off of fear and confusion. You becoming who you are meant to be is their downfall, and that is why they plot not to win, but to delay you for a sufficient amount of time so that you miss what is already aligned. However, here is the truth. They cannot win. They cannot stop the blessing. Is try to distract you from receiving it. Their entire game plan hinges on you getting tired, giving up, walking away, or self-sabotaging before the shift completes. That's why you're being hit harder now, because you're not who you used to be, and they know it. So what's your response? Do you fold under the pressure, or do you recognize it as confirmation? Do you let the distraction derail you, or do you double down in your focus because this is your proving ground? This is your moment to choose clarity over chaos, alignment over anxiety, purpose over pity. You've already outgrown who you used to be. Now the universe is preparing to reveal who you really are, and the enemy knows once that happens, there's no pulling you back. The old tricks won't work. The emotional games won't work. The distractions will fail, because a chosen one who's aligned with the universe, that's a storm. No enemy survives. So remember this. They only plot when the universe prepares the pressure you feel is not proof that something's wrong. It's proof that everything is about to go right. Let them panic, let them whisper, let them try. Just don't let them distract you. Your blessing is already on the way. You just have to stay ready to receive it. Number 2, they can't touch what they don't understand. You are the encrypted code. They'll never decode. Let's make one thing clear: what you carry doesn't fit their blueprint. The power inside you doesn't come from titles, education, approval, or systems. It comes from a place they don't have access to. That's why you confuse them. That's why they copy you and still fail. That's why they try to provoke you, sabotage you, or drain you, not because you're weak, but because you are a walking glitch in a system that is designed to control everyone. But you are not meant to be understood by people who only operate in the physical world. Your energy moves differently. It speaks in frequencies rather than words. It disrupts rooms before you even open your mouth, and they feel that this is the reason why the tension rises the moment you walk in. The reason why people you barely know feel threatened by your calm, by your silence, by your presence. You are the encrypted signal in a world that is addicted to noise. And they know they can't decode you because they know they can't decode you. Try to dismantle you instead. Understand this. They can't copy what was divinely coded into your being. They can study your steps, mimic your style, even try to emulate your confidence. But they'll always come up short because what you have is internal, not external. It's rooted in your alignment with truth, with purpose, with the universe itself. It's not something you perform, it's something you are. And that level of authenticity can't be faked, bought, or duplicated. That's why they obsess. That's why they talk about you when you're not around. You walking in peace makes them furious, not because they want to understand, but because they want to contain. And what they don't understand, they fear. This is the reason why they try to lure you into confusion, conflict, or character assassination, because your clarity is their chaos. You staying focused is what keeps them up at night. You walking in peace makes them furious. You ever wonder why the attacks feel so subtle sometimes? Why it's not always a direct hit, but rather a small emotional jab here, a strange shift in someone's energy there, or a joke that feels more like a shot that's not. The pattern is that they are trying to find your breaking point by poking, testing, and pressing buttons. However, what they fail to realize is that you were built from pressure. You were raised in the fire. You did not learn your strength in peace. You learned it through betrayal, disappointment, and having to stand when no one else did. Therefore, they are unable to touch you, not because they will not try, but because you are protected by the very power that they are unable to comprehend. Your path is encoded in a language that only the universe understands, which is why it doesn't make sense to them. Sense to them how you're still standing. That's why they're baffled when you bounce back stronger after every attempt to break you. You are the blueprint they weren't given access to. Think about some of the greatest disruptors the world has ever seen. Nikola Tesla's mind was so advanced, society couldn't understand him. So they tried to erase him. Prince didn't just make music. He became a vibration that refused to conform, so they tried to label him weird. Serena Williams didn't just dominate tennis. She did it in a system that wasn't built for her, so they attacked her spirit instead of her skill. Every chosen one has experienced this disconnect, not because they weren't brilliant, but because their brilliance didn't ask for permission. That's you, whether you realize it fully or not. You've always been different, and they've always known your ideas ahead of your time, your energy unmatched, your vision threatening to the ones still clinging to illusions. That's why people try to keep you boxed in. Small second guessing, because if you ever stepped fully into who you are, their system breaks. So what's their strategy? If they can't figure you out, they'll label you too much, too intense, too sensitive. They'll throw confusion at your clarity. They'll weaponize your uniqueness against you. And they'll try to convince you that fitting in is safer than standing out. Don't fall for it. You weren't born to be predictable. You were born to be the glitch in their matrix. You're not here to be understood by the masses. You're here to awaken the few who recognize your frequency and are willing to rise with you. You're not here to prove yourself to people who don't even know who they are. You're here to disrupt, to realign, to remind this world that true power never bows to fear. So the next time the enemy shows up confused, threatened, or obsessed, don't shrink. Recognize it for what it is. Proof that you're moving in something real. Proof that the blessing they can't see is already vibrating in your direction. Proof that they still don't understand you and never will, because you were encrypted by the universe with a purpose no weapon can decrypt. And no matter how hard they try, they can't touch what they don't understand. Number 3, distraction is the new weapon of mass deception. They don't need to stop you if they can simply confuse you. This isn't about stopping you, it's about stalling you. It's not about killing your purpose. It's about making sure you never activate it. They don't need chains or cages to hold a chosen one back anymore. All they need is distraction. All they need is a steady drip of confusion to keep your focus shattered and your mind occupied. That's the weapon now, and it's everywhere in a world that's screaming for your attention. Every second of the day, silence has become rebellion. Stillness has become strategy. Because the moment you get still, the moment you look up, you begin to hear the whisper of your calling again. You begin to feel the pull of your alignment, and that's what they fear most. So they flood your life with noise, not obvious threats, but disguised ones. Entertainment masters escapism, drama dressed up as connection, negativity served with a smile. Social media feeds you chaos in high definition. Algorithms track your wounds and send you more of the same poison you're trying to heal from. And while you're locked into other people's lives, your own destiny sits waiting for your attention. They understand something most chosen ones haven't realized yet. Your attention is your most sacred currency. Where your focus goes, your power flows. And the moment you let it leak into nonsense, petty drama, irrelevant conversations, meaningless scrolling, you've handed over the very thing they were hoping to steal. Not your energy, not your time, your momentum. It's not just digital noise either. It's people too toxic, individuals sent to your life not to support you, but to provoke you. People who show up with a smile, but operate like distractions. Their words are empty. Their loyalty is temporary, and their presence always seems to coincide with moments when you're finally getting back on track. Coincidence? Never. They were sent like landmines, small, hidden, and waiting to explode the moment you step too close to progress. The enemy knows you're close to something. That's why you're being baited. The arguments that don't matter, the X that resurfaces, the random chaos that shows up just as you start getting clarity. You think that's random. It's precision. They're trying to provoke you into stepping out of alignment, into wasting energy on fires that were never yours to fight. Because if you're caught up in reacting, you're not creating. If you're constantly cleaning up messes, you're not building anything new. Chosen one, ask yourself, how much energy have you lost this year to meaningless battles? How many nights did you spend mentally replaying conversations that were designed to drain you? How many goals did you delay because you were emotionally wrapped up in cycles that served no purpose? That's the deception. They didn't take your power. They didn't have to. They just kept you busy long enough that you didn't realize how powerful you already were. Your power doesn't disappear, but it does sleep when your mind is cluttered. Your calling doesn't vanish, but it does wait patiently while your energy is tangled in distractions, and that's the trap. They don't destroy you. They keep you preoccupied, spiritually, delayed, and mentally, stuck emotionally, drained alive, but not activated. Think of how masterful this tactic is. The world doesn't even have to come at you with opposition anymore. All it has to do is keep you addicted to attention loops. Emotional triggers and surface level validation keep you chasing dopamine instead of depth, keep you reacting to noise instead of listening to inner wisdom. If they can distract you long enough, you'll destroy yourself without them ever having to lift a finger. Even the greatest minds have fallen to this trap. How many artists, innovators, and visionaries were thrown off course by fame, attention, or conflict that they should have ignored you, believe that your blessing is only delayed by external force, but half the time it is your divided focus that is holding you back, because clarity creates motion, but confusion breeds stagnation. And if they can keep you confused, they achieve victory. If they can flood your world with just enough chaos, you will continue to question yourself rather than moving, and you will continue to start and stop burning out before you ever hit stride. Not because you are unqualified, not because you are not chosen, but because you gave your power to the noise instead of the mission. But now that you see it, it is time to move differently. It is time to reclaim your focus as if your life depends on it, because it does. It is time to stop entertaining energy that does not elevate you. It is time to cancel access to distractions that only exist to keep you small. You have a mission that requires your full attention, because the blessing they are trying to keep you from the blessing is already moving toward you, and you don't need to worry about it. To beg for it, you just need to be present enough to receive it when it shows up. And that means filtering the noise. That means guarding your focus like sacred ground. That means knowing that not every call deserves an answer. Not every text deserves a reply. And not every voice deserves your ears. You were never meant to be average. You were never meant to be idle. You were meant to shift atmospheres, build legacy, and wake others up just by living aligned. But that won't happen if you stay stuck in distractions. Shut down the noise, get still, and refocus, because now that you know their game, they are unable to win. And the moment you take your focus back, everything that was waiting for you begins to move. Number 4, energy leeches are sent to drain you, not love you. Some people come into your life like a gift, but they come to drink from your light like it's a fountain. Let's get something straight. Not everyone in your life was sent to bless you. Some people came on assignment, not divine but deceptive. They don't come to uplift, but rather to extract. And if you get your focus back, everything that was waiting for you begins to move. You will be unaware of it. You will mistakenly believe that it is an emotional connection. You will call it love, but it is actually feeding. You will call it loyalty, but it is really leeching. These are not coincidences. These are calculated spiritual attacks disguised as friendships, relationships, and support. They come like gifts. They say the right things. They mirror your energy just enough to earn your trust. And the moment you let them in, the draining begins suddenly. Your peace is unstable, your focus is foggy, and your motivation is gone altogether. But you can't explain it because nothing big happened. No blow up, no betrayal, just slow erosion. One emotional withdrawal after another until you're a shell of who you were before they entered your life. That's how leeches work. They don't announce themselves, they attach silently. And by the time you notice they've already fed you, ever wake up feeling tired after a full night's sleep? You ever leave a conversation more confused than before it started? You ever give someone encouragement, time, affection, presence, and leave feeling like you're the one who was emptied? That's not you being lazy, weak, or sensitive. That's spiritual theft in real time. That's your energy being harvested by someone who doesn't have their own sea. When you're chosen, your light has value even to those who don't respect it. You carry a frequency that disrupts the stagnant and heals the broken, and broken people don't always want healing. Sometimes they want access. Sometimes they want a taste of your peace, your confidence, your stability, not to become better, but to survive one more day off of your essence. And the worst part, some of them don't even know they're doing it. They're so spiritually empty that your light becomes a drug they unconsciously depend on. But others, they know exactly what they're doing. They see your light and treat it like a resource to be mined. They call you when they need clarity. They lean on you when they feel weak. They use your presence like a battery charger and vanish the moment they feel full. You're not crazy for noticing this pattern. You're not wrong for setting boundaries. You're not being heartless by pulling away. You're finally protecting what they were hoping you'd keep giving away. You were never meant to be someone's endless power source. You are not a soul vending machine for people who are too lazy to do their own healing. But you have been conditioned by society, by trauma, and even by your own compassion to believe that being constantly available is a virtue and that always giving is what makes you good. However, that lie is killing your alignment, because the truth is that you cannot pour forever from a cup that never gets filled. You are not called to be everyone's lifeline. Rather, you are called to walk in purpose, clarity, and strength. And that requires energy, that requires you to be able to focus, that requires you to be whole. And if every relationship around you is draining you, interrupting you, pulling from you, you'll never have enough left to rise into what's already aligned for you. That's the enemy's tactic. Surround the chosen one with constant emotional debt, so their destiny stays on pause. Don't think it's a coincidence that every time you start gaining momentum, someone starts needing more from you. That when your vision gets clear, an energy vampire shows up with a crisis. That when you finally feel grounded, someone starts accusing you of changing because you stopped being their emotional sponge. That's not bad timing. That's precision sabotage. Look at the patterns. You're not being dramatic. You're being harvested. And your exhaustion isn't just physical, it's spiritual. It's what happens when your energy is constantly extracted and never replenished. It's what happens when you carry light and don't guard it the truth. Is you teach people how to treat your energy by how you manage it. If you keep showing up for everyone, no matter the cost, they'll keep expecting it. If you keep allowing access without discernment, they'll keep leeching. And if you keep calling it love when it's really manipulation, you'll stay stuck in cycles that were only designed to keep you small, but that ends now, because awareness is the beginning of liberation. The moment you see it, you can stop it. The moment you recognize the drain, you can cut the cord. And when you do, you'll feel your spirit begin to recharge. You'll feel your thoughts return. You'll feel your peace anchor back into your body. That's not selfish. That's spiritual hygiene. From now on, protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Everyone should not have access to you. Everyone should not be able to call you, text you, cry to you, or lean on you whenever they feel like it. This is not love, it is leeching. And as a chosen one, you are obligated to protect the current that you carry, because the blessing that is on its way requires all of you, not the drained version, not the distracted version, not the broken version that leeches left behind, but rather the aligned, whole-focused version of you. If this means saying no more frequently, pulling back from one-sided connections and cutting ties, then you must protect the current that you carry. Cords that were only ever meant to control you. So be it. You were not sent here to be drained. You were sent here to disrupt, to elevate, to lead. And that starts by guarding the very thing they came to steal, your light. Number 5, you were born bright, so they try to blind you when your light exposes darkness. Don't expect applause, expect attack. You didn't earn your light. It was built into you. It wasn't handed to you by people. It was placed there by the universe. From the moment you came into this world, you were already glowing in ways that most couldn't understand. You didn't have to try to. You just shined. And that is precisely why they have been trying to dim you ever since. Light does not simply illuminate. It exposes, and that is the real reason they come for you. It is not because you have done something wrong. It is not because you are arrogant, and it is not because you are too much. Rather, it is because your energy reveals what theirs is trying to hide. When you enter a room, the masks that people wear begin to feel uncomfortable when you speak. The lies that are around you begin to feel unstable when you rise, and the illusions that others built their identity on begin to crack you. You weren't born to be liked. You were born to be light, and light doesn't always feel good to those who have lived in the dark for too long. Therefore, you shouldn't expect them to clap for you. You shouldn't expect them to celebrate your growth, your healing, your clarity. You should expect resistance. You should expect jealousy dressed as silence. You should expect passive aggression. You should expect strange energy from people who once loved you but now flinch every time you speak with confidence. This is not shade, it's exposure, and your light did that when you shine. Panics, every false friend, every odd vibe, every shady shift in someone's behavior after you begin glowing up. It's not in your head, it's not overthinking. It's the result of light hitting shadows. You're not the problem, you're the mirror. And what they see when they look at you is everything they've avoided confronting in themselves. So what do? They try to blind you. They throw shade, not because it will stop your shine, but because it might distract you long enough to question it. They use sarcasm, subtle digs, backhanded compliments. They accuse you of being full of yourself just because you finally stopped apologizing for being powerful. That's the tactic attack. The confidence and maybe the clarity will collapse with it. But here's what they never counted on. Your light doesn't come from ego. It comes from essence. It's not built on validation, so it can't be torn down by rejection. You shine because you're aligned. You glow because you've survived what was sent to kill you, and now that you've stepped into that light. They know they can't manipulate you the same way they can't guilt you into staying small. They can't emotionally trap you with fear of being too much because you've experienced your own power. And once a chosen one gets even a glimpse of that, the game changes forever. Think about it. Why do some people suddenly change their behavior the moment you start healing? Why do they pull away when you finally find peace? Why do they stop calling when you stop complaining? It's because you stopped being relatable to their dysfunction. You stopped dimming yourself to keep their insecurities comfortable. The moment you did that, the dynamic shifted. Let's talk about the implications of this fear. What that shift really is, it's spiritual. Your light becomes unbearable to people who haven't done the inner work. Your presence starts to feel like pressure, and instead of leveling up, they lash out. That's not your fault. That's the friction between frequency levels, and you don't have to lower yours just to keep the peace. Peace built on your suppression is not peace. It's manipulation. There's a reason. History remembers the bright ones. People like Maya Angelou, whose words exposed generations of pain and beauty. Prince, whose creativity broke the mold and forced the world to redefine art. Frida Kahlo, whose raw truth on canvas made society confront realities they wanted to ignore. These people weren't always applauded in their time. They were mocked, misunderstood, and in many ways attacked. Why? Because light always meets resistance in a world addicted to shadows. But they kept shining, and that's your blueprint. So if you're feeling the heat right now, if you're seeing people move strange, if you're getting backlash just for being authentic, good, that means you're doing it right. That means your light is real. That means you've stopped bending to keep other people from breaking. That means your presence is starting to shift. Things shake things, expose things. And that's exactly what you were born to do. Let them talk, let them twist the narrative, let them misread you. Your light isn't here to be understood. It's here to be undeniable. You were not sent to this planet to be dimmed. You were not chosen to shrink in rooms too small for your calling. You were built to blaze. You were built to ignite. You were built to disturb darkness until it either transforms or flees. And no matter how much they try, they cannot blind what was born bright. They can throw shade, but they can't touch the source. They can try to distract you, but they can't rewrite your wiring. You carry light in your bones, and every time you choose to stand in it, another illusion falls apart. So don't flinch, don't fold, don't apologize. Keep shining so hard they have no choice but to confront themselves or leave. And if they leave, let them. Because where you're headed, only those who can handle the heat of your radiance will be able to walk beside you. And for the ones still watching from the shadows, they already know your light isn't going anywhere. Number 6, stop saying you're alone, you're set apart. The eagle isn't alone because it's forgotten. It's alone because it's flying where others can't breathe. Let's make this clear. You are not alone. You're set apart. There's a big difference. And if you're still confusing the two, that's exactly why the lesson keeps repeating. You're not in isolation because the universe forgot about you. You're in isolation because the elevation you're being prepared for is too high for the average to survive. Eagles don't fly in flocks. They soar alone, not because they're abandoned, but because most wings can't handle the altitude. So stop calling your divine separation loneliness. Stop sulking like you've been rejected when really you've been reserved. Stop scrolling your life away, wondering why they all left you. Walked away misunderstood. You betrayed you. It wasn't random, it was surgical. It was designed to strip you of what couldn't go where you're headed, and you're crying over exits. When the universe is trying to clear your path, you're not being punished, you're being positioned. Chosen ones confuse solitude with suffering because they forget they're not built like the rest. They've been taught that constant noise equals community, that proximity equals loyalty, that being surrounded equals being supported. And when those illusions fall away, it feels like failure. But that's not failure that's filtering. The universe is filtering out every distraction, every fake connection, every spiritual leech you would have taken with you into the next level. Because what you're about to walk into can't afford dead weight. Yes, it feels brutal. Yes, it feels unfair. Yes, it feels like silence is screaming at you some days. But what you feel as loss is really refinement. Diamonds aren't formed in noise. Warriors aren't trained in crowds. Visionaries don't receive downloads in chaos. You are being prepared in private because your power is meant to be unleashed in public. So don't you dare mistake this season for abandonment. You think you're alone because they stopped texting, calling, checking in good. Their chapter in your life is about to come to an end. Some of the things you have been going through in the past, them were just tourists in your journey, not tenants. Some were lessons in disguise. Some were weapons dressed as comfort. If they could walk away, they were never meant to stand beside the version of you that's emerging. Look at every chosen figure in history. They didn't rise through applause. They rose through silence, through exile, through separation. Nelson Mandela wasn't molded in meetings. He was shaped in a prison cell. Maya Angelou didn't become a legend. By being surrounded, she wrote her truth. In the isolation of pain, Steve Jobs was forced out of his own company before he came back and revolutionized the world. Solitude didn't break them, it birthed them. And you're next. But you're wasting the season because instead of leaning into it, you're fighting it. Instead of listening, you're complaining. Instead of sharpening, you're scrolling. And every time you say, I'm tired of being alone, you are rejecting the very environment that is designed to unlock the version of you that the world needs. You are misreading the assignment, and the delay is on you. You want destiny without discipline. You want elevation without endurance. You want revelation, but you can't sit still long enough to receive it. The universe isn't ignoring you. It's watching to see what you do with the silence. Will you finally face the things that you've been avoiding? Will you do the inner work? Will you develop the spiritual stamina to walk into a room and hold your frequency regardless of who observes you? Because the next level is waiting for you isn't for the emotionally needy, it's for the spiritually ready. And that's why you've been pulled back, not to suffer, but to strengthen. The silence isn't absence, it's construction. The people who disappeared weren't your support system, they were your distractions. The loneliness you feel isn't punishment, it's a spiritual detox. You're not alone, you've just outgrown your last environment. This season is sacred, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And if you misuse it, you'll repeat it. You'll walk back into connections that were designed to fail. You'll reattach to people who drain you. You'll beg for the company of those who once celebrated your wounds but can't handle your healing. You'll dim your light just to be seen by people who are never meant to witness your glow no more. Of that, you've come too far. You've suffered too much. You've lost too many pieces of yourself to go backward for the sake of feeling connected. This is the season to master your solitude, to use the silence as strategy, to realize that being set apart is not rejection, it's recognition. The universe recognizes what you carry even when you forget, so stop sulking, stop waiting for someone to come sit in your quiet with you. Embrace it. Let it strip you, shape you, strengthen you. Let it teach you how to protect your energy, how to discern alignment, how to walk with power, even when no one is clapping, because when the time comes for you to rise, you won't be questioned. You'll be undeniable. And when people finally ask, "Where did you come from?" you'll smile not out of pride, but because you'll know I didn't come from the crowd. I came from the silence because I wasn't alone. I was being set apart. Number 7, they fear what they moved early, strategically, precisely, and relentlessly before you even knew what was inside of you. They knew, and that is the part that you still haven't fully accepted. You weren't cursed. You were targeted because your energy, even when it was undeveloped, screamed threat from childhood. You felt it, the cold stars, the strange jealousy, and the people who were supposed to protect you, but you didn't. The universe already declared that they see it in you before you do, and that is why they move against you early. They didn't wait until you were successful. They didn't wait until you had it all figured out. Turn their backs, the friends who became enemies, for no clear reason that wasn't coincidence, it was recognition. They may not have had the language for it, but they felt something divine hovering around you, and it disturbed their spirit. You hadn't even tapped into your power yet, but its potential was already shaking things around you. See, the universe declares things long before they're visible. Your path was already written. Your destiny was already activated. But while you were still stumbling through self-doubt, others were watching you with envy, suspicion, even fear, because they sensed what you didn't yet know. You were never normal. You were marked, chosen, meant to rise. So what did they do? They tried to clip your wings before you ever learned to fly. They threw trauma at you early. They sent betrayal before you had boundaries. They planted seeds of self-doubt before you could build self-worth. They wanted to break you before you had the chance to awaken. And you've spent years wondering why. Why the pain, the isolation, the repeated losses? Why did it seem like you were always the one under fire? While this is your answer: because they were afraid of what you would become if you ever healed, if you ever woke up, if you ever connected with the truth that had always been in your spirit. You were not attacked because you were weak. You were attacked because you are dangerous to everything that is built on lies, control, and illusion. Your presence disrupts systems, your voice breaks spells, and your light exposes shadows, which is why they moved early to condition you, distract you, and confuse you. However, here is something that they never expected. You survived, you absorbed the hits, and you endured the betrayal, and kept going. And now you're awakening, and that's their nightmare. Because once a chosen one realizes they were never cursed, they were just feared, everything changes. You stop explaining. You stop shrinking. You stop apologizing for the gravity in your soul. You step fully into what the universe already declared, and that's when the enemy truly loses. They feared it before, but now they'll have to face it, because you're no longer hiding the power they tried to kill. You're walking in it. Number 8, they build traps, hoping you'll doubt yourself. If they can't take your blessing, they'll make you walk away from it yourself. They don't always come swinging. Sometimes they come whispering, planting seeds, quiet lies that grow louder over time. I'm not ready. Maybe I'm wrong. What if I fail? That's the strategy. Get you to question yourself so deeply that you forfeit what's already yours. Not because you weren't chosen, but because they convinced you weren't enough to carry what you were born for. This is the warfare they won't preach about. It's not fought with fists. It's fought with the manipulation of thoughts begins in the mind. And if they are able to turn your thoughts against you, they don't have to lift a finger. You will sabotage your own rise. You will delay your own purpose. And you will shrink on your own terms, thinking that it is wisdom, when in reality it is fear. They installed that voice telling you that you are not ready, which is not your intuition. It is interference, that hesitation that appears right before the breakthrough, planted, strategically timed. They have studied you, and they know exactly when to strike. And it is always right before your next level. Here's the truth. The moment you silence that doubt, the moment you stop playing small for their comfort, they lose completely, because confidence is your access code. Faith in yourself is the one thing they can't counterfeit. And when you believe who you truly are, no trap, no lie, no illusion can hold you. You were never the problem, the doubt was. And now that you see it, you can destroy it. Stand firm. The blessing is still yours. Just don't hand it over by hesitating. And now you see it clearly, the distractions, the betrayals, the doubt. It was never random. It was a calculated attempt to block what the universe had already declared to be your life. But they were unsuccessful because you are still standing, still glowing, and still chosen. Now is the time to move with power, without hesitation, without questioning, without shrinking, and with lock-in focus rise. If this message resonated with your spirit, like it, and drop the number 77 in the comments to confirm that you are finished letting them throw you off. Share this with another chosen person, because the blessing is still coming and they can't stop what is already yours.